How y'all doing today? Um, yeah, it looks like I'm feeling a lot better. Yeah, I was down in the dumps yesterday when I posted that video, or 2 days ago when I posted that video about we're going to sell the food truck, and we still are going to sell the food truck. Um, but today, I wanted to talk a little bit about politics, and I know that's you're supposed to never talk about religion and politics, but in my opinion, religious and politics are the two things we should talk about because it's the things we're divided on the most, and we need to figure out this whole thing so we can fix life at home. Because this is our home, we have to live in it, and you know we are all in this together. First of all, I am neither a Republican or a Democrat, although I am a big Trump fan. Um, I don't trust the Republicans because when the election, in my opinion, was stolen, and my opinion goes by this: there was more votes cast than we had registered voters. We know there was some cheating going on. We also know that there's no way Joe Biden got more votes than Barack Obama. There's no way. No way. Um, Enough of that subject. But there are some things that I have feelings on these subjects. Um, the Republicans did nothing to defend him. Tells me they're in the same bed as everybody else. They're part of the swamp, just like the Democrats are part of the swamp. And I know I'm offending both sides right now. Put your feelings in a bag, and you can post on your homepage that what your feelings are. That's okay with me. I mean, there's no reason to jump the fence and write on my sign your political views. As far as the Democrat Party goes, I grew up super poor. I don't know if you know that. We didn't have a lot growing up. My mom pretty much was a single parent off and on between husbands, and we didn't have much. And I realized, we could get food stamps and we could get medical card and things like that. And but if you made very much money at all, they didn't let you have those things. And everybody knows the Democrat Party is more in charge of making sure everybody gets welfare. They are. And many people vote for them for that reason. Now you're thinking, well, no, it's because I'm black. I'm like, no, it's because you're not green. It's not about black and white. I don't believe in this country. They try to make it look like it is on the news and on the media and everything else like that. It's the haves and haves not. Poor white people and poor black people are both poor, and they don't have very much, and they don't have very much opportunity to get that way because they live in neighborhoods that there is no opportunity in. Doesn't matter if you're black or white in that sense, because back when I was a kid in Granite City, where I live, um, over in West Granite, none of us hardly had any money, and we were all white, and we had our share of crime. And I know even nowadays crime's even higher than it's ever been, but poor areas have more crime, period. Doesn't matter what color the area is. And it doesn't matter um, who you are to the government, because they're not going to hand you a way to get away from being poor. They're going to hand you a way to stay poor, because if you make more than this, they take away that. So then you worked for nothing to get ahead, because all you did was work to not have it from them, and you're still poor. And wow, I went way off on the soapbox on that. But the Democrat Party, this is how I see it. Um, they were the party that did not want to give up slavery. They didn't. You're thinking, well, they're not like that now. Hang on, hang on. The Republican Party was the ones. Abraham Lincoln was Republican. And remember, I don't trust them either. But I'm just getting right to the racial things of things. Um, things of things. Should I say things of things? I did. Anyway, they were also the party that had all the Jim Crow laws or whatever, trying to keep desegregation from happening, They are also the ones that started the welfare program, believe it or not. And when they started it, um, it was actually said that will keep these, and they use the N word, voting for us for 200 years. That's the Democrat Party. And it's like now they don't have to have them doing manual labor for them. They just use their vote to stay in power. And when I'm saying there, I'm talking about the black people's vote, but it's not really just black people anymore. It's poor people in general. They keep voting Democrat because they want to make sure they got food stamps, or they make sure they got a medical card, and those things are important. Food and medical is very important. I'm not saying it ain't. But they keep that, and they keep us in that position where we got to stay like that if we're poor. And that way they get to stay in power. Why would they want to stay in power? Well, insider trading is a crime, okay? It's like if you know in advance what stocks are going to do good, and you know it and no one else knows it, it's not common knowledge, and you buy or sell them stocks because they're going to go good, and you know up front, that is illegal. And these people in our government have the power to say, okay, we're going to let X Inc. I'm not talking about the video, the internet thing, but we're going to let X Washers Inc. Come in from China and sell us their washers and dryers. And we're not going to charge them a tariff. And so then that Washers Inc. can come in and sell washers and dryers for $300 a piece, because it cost them $100 a piece to make them and get them here and everything. Why? Because they didn't have no labor laws. They could work people no matter how young, no matter how old, for no matter what they wanted to pay them. They didn't have no environmental laws, so they didn't have to go through any of the costly things here that we do here. And they didn't have to pay no tariff to get them in here to make it even. So they know when they agree to do that, if they put money in Washers, or X Washers Inc., they put a lot of money in their stock, they're going to make a buttload of money off of it. That's insider trading, but it's legal since our government people's doing it. And they'll not just do it in their name. They'll have a corporation name that they set up. You know, me or you can set up a corporation name, but we don't have that information they have to make all that money they make. But let's say Washers Inc. is not as competitive as they want. Then you know what they can do? They can just, we'll make this environmental law where it costs them a fortune to even get this paint tested before they can put it on the product. They have to have this drying method, and they have to run it back through this excluder to re-burn the fumes off a second time and a third time, and then they have to have it tested, and they make it so costly for a company here to make a washer and dryer that for that same washer and dryer we have to make it costs like $800, because we have to pay people at least minimum wage, and if minimum wage is $15 an hour, it still ain't close to the $1 an hour they're paying in China. So the shipping doesn't really matter either, because that same company owns the ship line. They bring it over here. It's just like a conveyor belt for them. And I know I got way off on a tangent. I did. But that's how government works. And I really believe it. And you're really seeing the effects of it here now. We send our grain that we let a foreign country buy. They bought the property. And you're saying, well, it's not legal for a foreign person to buy property. You're right, it's not. But it's not illegal for a foreign corporation to buy a property. So they don't buy nothing in John Lee's name from China. They buy it in John Lee Incorporated's name, which is a corporation which is allowed to buy anything they want here. And so they buy our land, our grain, they put it on their ship, send it to their country, they process it, they put it back together, send it back to us, and sell it still cheaper than we can do it ourselves. But yet, once they own so much of it, and we can't compete or we can't make enough of it to feed ourselves, they can jack that price of whatever they want. They have us, and we ain't gonna be able to get out of it. And we're almost at that point right now with our country. We need to vote for what's gonna fix our country. I mean, I'm okay with closing the borders to export and import. I think we could be self-sufficient. It will hurt real bad right now. Okay, it would. But eventually, we'd all have jobs. We'd all depend on each other. And you're thinking, well, you're a nationalist. Yes, I am. I'm not kidding. But when they called Trump a nationalist, which thinks like that, they said, that's like Hitler. That's like saying you're like Jeffrey Dahmer if you eat meat. It's not the same. Just because you're a nationalist means you want our nation to do better first. You want to fix the things at home before you fix the stuff at your neighbor's house. I mean, Jesus put it like this with our souls. He goes, what good does it do to gain the whole world and lose your own soul? So let's just expand on that. What does it do to gain the whole world and destroy our own country and hurt our own people? What does it do to help people across the world while our own people suffer? What good does it do to help our state while our city falls apart? You know, we got to fix things at home. It's just the way it is. Does that make me like Hitler? Or does that make me like a parent? Why help the neighbor's kids when my own kids are doing without? We just don't do that. We do it for our family first. It just keeps on micro down smaller and smaller. But we got to fix things at home. So please, if I voted for someone because of their gender or because of their color or even for their sexual orientation, just because I think it'd be great to have a first in the White House, that is thinking so stupid. I mean, we want to get the place fixed. We don't want to have a trophy on the wall, a participation trophy. Hey, look, we finally got one of us in there. Come on. If I voted on that, I'd be a racist, I'd be a sexist, I'd be whatever else they could call me. Don't do that. It's the same. It's the same. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or gay or straight or woman or man. It doesn't matter. If you're voting for someone because they're what you think should be in there and not what they could actually do for us, that's not good. That's bad. Anyway, we are all in this together, and I'm pulling for you. I love you. Bye-bye.